Hey, what's up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to the JB Webb Show. I, of course, am JB Webb, and welcome you to our continuing effort to document and report on cool people all across the country that are really talented, really doing great things, and are causing some changes to occur in the world, at least in their space. And so today, I actually I'm pleased that I'm able to speak with a young man who's doing a lot of great stuff in the Orlando music community. His name is Christian Ryan, and let me give you a quick intro on Christian. Christian Ryan is a rising figure in the Orlando music community with his willingness to play be it anytime, anywhere, and anything. He has been able to become one of the most active and versatile musicians in the Central Florida area, forging an unconventional path, attempting to bring the saxophone into situations one may not expect to hear. He has gained the reputation by fans and peers alike as consistently helping bands reach new heights, and that is an accurate statement right off of ChristianRyanMusic.com. It's a great way to introduce this passionate and talented young man, Mr. Christian Ryan. Thank you for being on the call, man. How you doing?
I'm doing great, JB. Thank you for having me. You're too kind.
Hey, my pleasure, man. You really are something else, man. You are one of the hardest working guys I've ever seen. I got the pleasure to meet you in person and see you perform a couple months ago. And I'm glad you agreed to do the interview because I really think you're an interesting guy. I mean, you got a lot of facets going on in what you're bringing to the Orlando music culture and scene, which is that, the horn instrument, the saxophone. So what I'd love to do is maybe have you give us a little bit a sense of your particular background. How'd you first get involved with, horns and instruments? Do you play any other kind of instruments? So maybe peel back and, go back 10, 20, or 10, 15 years and give us an idea of kind of how you first started to get involved with your passion.
Yeah, well, I can't say I have any, crazy stories, I heard this record back in the day and that was it. But I pretty much, I first got into music, I was 11 years old, and I was looking for an elective to take for middle school, actually.
Okay.
Which would be about a little over, about 11 years ago. So, and I thought band would be pretty cool, and I for some reason, I was just drawn to the saxophone. I thought it would be a pretty cool instrument.
Okay.
I don't have any sort of musical history when it comes to my family, so it was just kind of me going out on a limb, trying something I thought would be pretty interesting, and lo and behold, I wound up here playing saxophone as a profession, which I never would have thought at that time. For me, growing up before then, I mean, the music I listened to was just the music, my parents listened to. My mom was really into Motown and kind of that classic music, and then my dad more the classic rock side, and just kind of blended, I guess, the 60s through 80s, popular music was what I listened to. And I really didn't as much as I enjoyed playing it, I really didn't take it seriously till I would say my junior year of high school, when I was 17 years old, and I first heard a jazz record, which was the Time Out album from Dave Brubeck, and that sort of changed my whole view on music. And from there is when I kind of thought, hey, maybe I should maybe try playing, performing, and I've just kind of stuck with it since then.
Well, and that's amazing because you say, that was 11 years ago. You were 11, so you're relatively young to take this kind of instrument and do a lot with it. And I think Orlando's a great place for you because there's several different bands that are incorporate that horn, that beautiful sound. So that's okay. So that's super interesting. So where did you grow up here in Orlando, or?
Yes, I did. I was born in Arnold Palmer Hospital, Winter Park,
cool.
And I've pretty much been here ever since.
Yeah. So with the saxophone, you started that in, it sounds like junior high kind of area. Were you doing a lot of the band? You were in the band, I presume, or doing a lot of kind of that traditional sounds?
Just the traditional bands, the orchestras, the, little jazz group,
How many bands are you in?
For.
How many bands are you in right now? You're in several bands, aren't you, as the horn player?
Yeah, it's a tricky number because what I officially say on my website is 9 different groups.
Oh my gosh!
I like to consider I kind of consider an active group that I'm a part of is any band that could call me at any moment and I could play an entire set of music from.
Right.
My website actually I list kind of those bands, and then I have another section of artists I've worked with, sat in with, I've recorded on. But the list is it's officially 9, I believe.
Wow.
Of just bands that I may play a show with at any moment.
So you now I've been ever since I met you, I've kind of been following you on Facebook and connecting with you, and I saw a couple of posts where you're saying playing 12 consecutive days in a row, like going to New Orleans and coming and back to Florida. So what's your longest streak of playing shows every single day? Now keep in mind, everybody out there this young man is 22 years old. You've got discipline. Am I right there on the age? I'll say I'm gonna say that.
Yes, actually, right on the money.
Okay. Yeah, I did that quick math with the 11 and 11. So, so what's your longest streak of doing that? And is that something that you're really seeing as a beautiful fulfillment of your desire to, hey, I want to play music professionally, and all of a sudden you're doing it. I mean, you're 22 and you're really doing it. So what's your longest kind of role?
I probably, that was pretty close. If that wasn't it, I know I had a stretch earlier this year, actually, where it might have been 13 or 14.
Okay.
I could be wrong. But generally, that around that area, I haven't been able to do any sort of, I would say, like any type of national tours just yet, but I've fairly kept it local for most of my short career. But I would say that was pretty close. Those 10 to 12, 13 days has been, I guess, my record.
And that's remarkable in itself. So you've got a distinct look. You've got kind of one of those handlebar mustaches as your distinct look, let's say, which is cool. Where does that inspiration come from? Where did you kind of say, hey, I'm going to have this distinctive look and play this distinctive instrument? Can you share any information of does that come from inspiration from any particular character in history or time, or?
The whole mustache thing came about actually with it was I think it was 2010, and every month of November they have people call November sometimes No Shave November, and there's actually this organization that I wasn't aware of at the time called Movember,
right,
where people go without shaving to raise awareness for prostate cancer. But besides that, like it was just November, and I just wanted to try something different. So I said, I'm gonna grow a mustache. And by the end of November, it was kind of hideous, but I decided to just stick with it, and it sort of became a brand of itself. I wasn't necessarily trying to go with it, but people just started knowing me for it. Oh, it's the saxophone player with the mustache,
right.
And it just kind of stuck on. And I guess if you look, through the history of saxophone players, whether the jazz guys or the blues guys, they always got some kind of facial hair going.
Yeah, some distinct look. Yeah,
ties it into that too. So it's just something that kind of went together, and I kind of stuck with. I tell people if I didn't have my mustache, I wouldn't have my ability to play the saxophone.
Yeah, like Samson.
As its prowess grows, so does my musicianship.
That's cool. So, okay, so that's pretty funny. That's cool. So what I'm interested into is because you're super, you're relatively young, definitely very talented. Playing with 9 different bands right now, going on consecutive streaks of, 2 weeks in a row nonstop playing, multiple gigs in one day with different bands, which takes a lot of talent as it is. So my big question is really, what are your goals for the future of your music? Did you kind of expect this much thrush and rush, so quick, so fast? And if so, where do you kind of want to take it or drive this energy that you've built up so far?
Well, to be honest, I didn't expect this kind of situation to be. I didn't expect to be as active as I was. I guess at this point, because when I first started playing gigs out of high school, it was really slow. I played with one group steadily for a while, but it wasn't very busy, and then that group led to another group, and then this led to that, and that led to that, and and next thing you know, oh wow, I play with a lot of people, and a lot of shows go on, and gosh, if I feel really lucky to be in a point where I'm at, because I truly feel as far as the Orlando music scene goes, I feel like I'm a part of a lot of these up-and-coming Orlando staples that are, going to really be making names for themselves in all different avenues, whether it's reggae music, blues music, jam music, funk music. I feel privileged to be a part of so many different avenues, and personally, I'm my main goals are really to just keep performing as much as I can. It's hard to lay a specific goal out, but if I had to pick one, I'd probably of late I've had the opportunity to be a featured artist at a few different festivals that have gone around in the area. The latest one being the Jam Bando at the Plaza Theater last week.
Right, Dave Mann, and
They call artist at large, which basically is like a VIP individual artist that could and is able to fit in with as many groups as they so choose, and that's kind of what I'm going for in a nutshell. It sounds kind of what's the word for it? It might sound a little far-fetched, perhaps, but an example would actually be there's a Florida musician by the name of Roosevelt Collier. He's a lap steel guitar player from Miami.
Okay.
And he's been able to establish himself not only through his own group, the Lee Boys, but he goes through all these different festivals around the Southeast as an individual artist, where he is Roosevelt Collier featuring Roosevelt Collier.
Right.
Where he's able to play with all sorts of musicians, and that's kind of, that would be the dream scenario for me, if I could take my own musicianship to that level and just play with as many people as I possibly can, and one day have a group of my own music. Would be, I guess, the three
right
goals.
Well, you've definitely got the skills, you've got the chops, you've got the discipline. and the passion. I really see it. I mean, it's all there for you, coupled together with how much you've already accomplished at, such an early stage in life. I really see great stuff happening for you. So, I mean, we want to encourage you, just stick to it, keep doing what you're doing. And in closing, let's talk a little bit about something else that I feel that really kind of makes you a little bit unique. Now, it's not in any way, shape, or form to say that musicians are, alcoholics or druggies or anything like that. But you have a specific blog kind of chronicling your straight edge approach to life, to music, to things like this. What could you share with us a little bit about that kind of, the straight edge approach that you're taking?
Well, sure. I guess it all kind of blew up. I have a blog on my website, ChristianRyanMusic.com, where I have different posts about different things, and one thing I kind of honed in on was the fact that I pretty much live a straight edge lifestyle, and I understand as a musician throughout the history of music, not like you said, not that every musician is, a drug abuser by any way, but it's always kind of gone with the territory.
Right.
And usually the people that are more straight edge are kind of like against any of that, or just they don't associate well with those types of people. And I just kind of wanted to make a post saying this is my views on the different things, and I respect anybody's choice to do whatever they want as long as they're not causing harm to others. But for me, it's just never been quite my lifestyle. I've never drank. I've never smoked.
Right.
I don't drink really anything. I don't drink caffeine. It's just I kind of have this, I guess, almost like kind of, I guess, Zen approach with just, and as long as you have the will to do something, you're capable of doing something. So
right.
That's just kind of my thoughts on all that. And I mean, it really, I guess if it started anywhere, my folks actually own a bar in Winter Park called the Red Lion Pub.
Oh,
and
cool.
I grew up in a bar.
Yeah.
And eventually, as a musician, it's just something I've seen around a lot.
Yeah.
And it just was something that I guess resonated early. That just wasn't the type of thing I was really interested in doing.
Right.
But I don't necessarily, I'm not trying to, conform my beliefs on anybody. I mean,
right. Or
anybody.
preach, or, Papa don't preach. No, I mean, I totally get it. It's not... and that's why I wanted you to just chat a little bit about that, because I think it's a really cool that you make mention of that, and you say, hey, I am, straight edge. And there's a lot of kids out there that, when I was growing up, it was like you were not, no one would say, oh, I'm straight edge. You'd lie about doing stuff. Oh, yeah, I drink beer and all, so it's refreshing. It's encouraging. And when I see that you've really got a lot of movement with your passion, with your art, with your music, I see that that's another facet of your determination and your strong-willed nature. So, man, I just want to thank you so much, Christian, for taking some time and chatting with me, man. I really admire what you do, and I really want to encourage everyone to go check out ChristianRyanMusic.com. It's Christian without an H, I think. Let me go back and make sure. Yeah, no, it has an H. So Christian, the traditional Christian Ryan, RYAN, music.com, right?
Yes, and I just want to thank you for having me do this, JB. I really admire your willingness to try to connect all these different art avenues, not only around the Orlando scene, through where I met you through the social, but through your show and everything around. The people like you are the ones that really help the people like us to keep going and just getting our music, art, what say you out there for people. And
Well, thank you.
I appreciate what you're doing.
Well, thank you, man. I take that compliment and wipe the tear from my eye. But thank you. Thank you. Christian Ryan is a rock star, but you will have to discover him for yourself. That's the gentleman we've been speaking with today. I am JB Webb. You're participating in the JB Webb Show on WJBW Networks. Go check out ChristianRyanMusic.com and follow this young man's adventures. We'll be back with plenty more. Hang on the line for me, Christian. I'll ramp us out of here. And go to WJBWNetworks.com as well to follow along with our couple different shows. And as Mr. Ryan just paid me a compliment now, I'm going to ride that high on and let you enjoy some music here. So we'll see you the next time. Cheers.